Hey guys, welcome back. So I'm still sick. My voice sounds progressively worse. I'm sorry about that. But I have to film this video tonight. So this is my 2018 best of high-end makeup. I did my drugstore version last week and it took me way too long to sit down and do my high-end. So I'm powering through. We're getting it done. So let's just go ahead and jump right in and start with foundation because I really didn't have a high-end primer that I was like obsessed with all year long. That one, the drugstore one, the Pixie Beauty one, just really took the cake for me this year. So we're just gonna jump right into foundation, and that's gotta be the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. Y'all know I'm obsessed with this. I'm literally about to finish this bottle and I've only had it for this year. This is just the best foundation I've ever tried. It is my number one, my go-to anytime I need to look fantastic. I need my makeup to last all day long. I need it to look smooth and full coverage and just perfect. This is what I reach for. So this was definitely my favorite high-end foundation of the year. And I will also say that it is perfectly duped by the drugstore option that I talked about last week, the CoverGirl Matte Made foundation. Almost an exact dupe. So if you're wanting to try this, but you can't shell out the $34, I think, for this one, definitely try that CoverGirl one because they are so similar, it's ridiculous. And then for concealer, also the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. I freaking love this. It's the multi-use sculpting concealer specifically. I love this concealer so much. It is so, again, smooth, full coverage, looks amazing. It sets itself so I don't have to powder it, though I sometimes still do. It looks perfect and I'm obsessed with it. This is what I reach for literally anytime my under eyes are out to play. I just need to like really cover up heavy duty stuff, whether it's pimples, dark circles, whatever. This is what I reach for because it is just, it's so good. I already have backups of both of these sitting in my drawer for when I finish them because I'm about to finish them. For powders, I actually have two to talk about, which is kind of odd for me because I'm really not a big powder person, but these two I keep going back to. I love them so much. So the first one is the Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder. This one is fairly new to me. I probably used it last like 6 months or so. I really like this powder. I really hate how expensive it is, but I really like this powder. It is not revolutionary, but I will say that there is something about this that truly lets you keep your dewy glow that I'm fascinated by. Like anytime I feel like I need a powder because my face is just, or my foundation is a little too sticky and it just won't dry down or whatever it is, or I'm going out and I need my makeup to last, so I still want a powder, but I want to keep the glow. This is what I reach for because it truly does have a glowy essence to it. So you look healthy and glowy and dewy and all that, but you're set and powdered and you're good to go and it's gonna last all day. And it's so freaking cool that I'm obsessed with it. So I really have loved this year. I honestly highly recommend it to anybody with dry skin. I think it's totally worth it. Even if you just get the mini size, like it's powder. We don't go through powder that quickly. So the mini size is gonna last you more than enough. And I just think it's such a good powder. And then the other powder I want to talk about is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Loose Finishing Powder. I've talked about this all year long, and I think even before, honestly, I'm obsessed with this powder, and I literally have only ever had the minis. They just last so long. It is a super finely milled white powder, and some people are kind of turned off by that idea, but I personally don't do any flash photography, so I don't really care about flashback or anything like that. This powder is just so incredibly smoothing. It literally looks like you have a blur to your face. It is insane. It gets rid of any and all texture and just issues, and I cannot use anything but this on my under eye on a day-to-day basis. This is just the best thing to set my under eye with. It really does just make you look perfected, and it's amazing. So for face products, we all know 2018 was my year of Hourglass. I am obsessed with Hourglass face products, and 2018 did nothing to slow that down. So their blushes are something that are just amazing. They are so worth the price. They're one of my favorite blushes ever. This one in Mood Exposure has been one of my favorites because it's just the perfect day-to-day cool mauve blush that just looks beautiful on the cheeks. It's got a little bit of a glow to it, but not too much. It just looks really healthy. And their bronzers. I actually didn't talk about a drugstore bronzer because I was so obsessed with my high-end ones this year that like all the other drugstore bronzers just kind of like didn't make the cut for me. But Hourglass bronzers specifically were just so good. So the only two I actually have are in their holiday palettes that they came out with, but it's the same shades that they already have, so I have them in palette form. So this one specifically is Luminous Bronze Light, and I think this one's definitely my favorite. This is the one that came out in the 2017 holiday palette, and I love this bronzer. It is the best warm tone bronzer that's not orange, not too red. It's great for pale skin, and it is a little luminous, so it just looks really healthy on the skin, which is what I'm always going for with my dry skin. But this one in the 2018 holiday palette is Filtered Bronze Light, and I really like this one. It's what I'm wearing right now. It's a little more red toned, but I still think it just looks really, really beautiful on my skin, and it's definitely more of a summertime bronzer in my opinion because it is a little bit more sun-kissed type of bronze, but their formula is so great. It's just so soft and buildable and not too pigmented, but not pigmented at all, and it's amazing. But the other bronzer, the one I literally could not shut up about this year, the Marc Jacobs Omega Tantastic bronzer. Oh my god, this is my baby. Like, I am obsessed with this bronzer. It is literally the perfect tone. I have no complaints about this bronzer whatsoever. It looks great on the skin. It's not orange toned. It's not like gray toned. It's just right in the middle. It's perfect. The formula is beautiful. It's soft. It's blendable. It's perfect. Definitely worth the price. And then for highlighters, I had two that as soon as I opened my drawer, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta talk about those. So the first one is the Fenty Beauty Killawatt Lightning Dust Fire Crystal Duo. I talked about this a lot this year because it is one of my favorite highlighters. I have a dent in Lightning Dust, which I don't have a dent in any of my highlighters. So that's definitely saying something. This was just one of those highlighters that I just reached for literally every time I was going out at night. Anytime I just wanted a intense highlighter, this is what I reached for, specifically Lightning Dust. It's so good. I mean, I love Fire Crystal too, don't get me wrong, but there's something so special about this Lightning Dust color. It just looks so amazing on the skin and so smooth, and I can't even swatch it because it does basically nothing. I don't know what the magic is, but with the brush on the cheek, it's so good. And the other one is actually fairly new to me, but I had to mention it because I don't think I've ever dropped my draw so fast for a highlighter before. What did I say? Dropped my jaw for a highlighter so fast before. The PYT Beauty Upgrade Highlighter in Backstage Pass. This makes you look like your cheeks are legitimately wet. Like, it looks like you have a cream streaked across your face. It is so intense and beautiful. I cannot get over it. I'm gonna put some on right now. You can see my highlighter is intense right now. I don't need more, but we're gonna add more. I mean, are you kidding me? Look at that. Like, can you, it just looks, honestly, mildly ridiculous. Like, you look like you're sweating, like you need to blot your face. but you don't. It's just a perfect highlighter. I just, it is beautiful. I'm obsessed with it. This is one of those highlighters that you reach for to like add just that wow factor on top of any other highlighter, just like right there on the tip of the cheekbone. You're like, it's good, but I need something else. This is what I reach for those days. So for eyeshadow palettes, I have a lot to mention. First of all, the Huda Beauty Obsessions palettes. Y'all know I was obsessed with them this year. This is one of my favorite formulas ever. The Mauve Obsessions is just like my go-to soul sister type of palette. It's beautiful. I used it for so many looks this year. It's insane. It's really versatile, which is surprising considering the shades in here, but for some reason you can just get so many looks out of this. And honestly, the fact that this has a matte cream in here is just like mind-blowing, because so many people stopped putting matte creams in palettes and I really don't understand it. So I love this palette, but this formula is so, it basically blends itself, honestly. The next palette is from Too Faced. It's the Natural Matte palette. I'm gonna be honest, pretty much all these palettes are exactly the same because your girl's a basic bitch. Sorry. It's how I am. So this palette, I've talked about it before. I love this palette. However, if you pay full price for this palette, you're an idiot. I think the formula is beautiful. I think the shades are just perfect. They did such a good job. Why is my camera going dark? What is happening right now? I think this palette is amazing. I was trying to focus on the brightness of the palette. Damn it. They had to make it cold. But it's nothing revolutionary unless you're a basic bitch like me and you like to collect nude warm toned palettes, in which case, I mean, this one's fantastic. And I have reached for it so much this year, which I know I can sound contradictory when I talk about this palette because I do love it. I reach for it all the time. It definitely stands out to me in my collection, but I don't think it's worth the $38 because you do only get 9 shades, and I mean, it's a nude palette, but had to mention it because I have used it quite a lot this year, and I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I didn't even touch it this year, because I think it's not worth it, but I did use it, so we're talking about it. And then the last palette I wanted to mention is the Violet Voss Pro Eyeshadow Matte About You palette. I had such a love affair with this palette this year. I talked about it so much. I love the fact that it's all matte. I love the fact that it's warm tones and cool tones and deeps and crease colors and a few like brighter oranges. I love this palette. It's got so much happening with it that it's almost a little overwhelming sometimes, but I love the versatility. I love how many different looks you can get out of it because it really does have a really wide range of matte browns. And I just think this is a super great palette, especially for beginners, or if you're just trying to get into the formula, if you just want to test it out. This was like my step into Violet Voss because I love matte shadows. It's what I reach for 99% of the time. I rarely do shimmers on my lid, so I really wanted to test out the formula with something that I would like truly get use out of, and that was this palette. So I just have a couple more things to talk about. The first one is mascara. The Hourglass Caution Extreme Lash Mascara. Y'all knew this was coming, honestly. This is just such a fantastic mascara. Yes, it is stupidly expensive, but it gives you some beautiful, long, thick spider lashes. And I love it so much. It lasts all day long. It doesn't smudge on me, which is rare. I will say it dries out quicker than some of my other mascaras, which sucks because it is so much more expensive. I used it today, and I hadn't used it in like probably a month, and it's just like full-on Clump City, which sucks. I might have to find some eye drops to put in there and try and revive it some because I really didn't get that much use out of this tube. But I freaking love this mascara. I literally already have 2 backups because I knew I never wanted to be without it. So I definitely had to mention this one. I have an eye primer to mention, which is odd because I don't talk about eye primer that much, but it is one of the essential steps in my makeup routine. And the Too Faced Shadow Insurance 24-Hour Anti-Crease Eyeshadow Primer really took the cake for me this year. I actually spent 2018 searching for the best eyeshadow primer for me and my oily ass eyelids, and this one 100% won. I did an entire video talking about all of the other ones that I've tried, so I'll link that down below in case you're curious. If you also have oily eyelids and you want to see what else I tried and what else I liked or didn't like or anything like that. But this one 100% took the cake for me. It's so good. It's funny because it feels quite oily when you're putting it on, but it dries down and something about it really fights the oil and the creasing and everything, and essential. Every time I do my makeup, this goes on. For lips, did we not know this was coming? This is the Urban Decay Ice Lipstick, the best lipstick formula in the world, the only one that I consistently repurchase, keep in my collection. I literally have the idea that eventually I'm going to own all of them, which sounds ridiculous, but also amazing. It's just the best formula, whether it's the matte or the cream or the satin or what is sheer. They're so good. So this one right now that I'm wearing is Crisis, which is one of their cream shades, but I have a ton in my collection that I cannot get enough of. In fact, some of my favorites this year and most reached for have been Sheer Liar, which is just the perfect everyday pinky nude, amazing color, and also Bun Bun, which is a comfort matte. This one, unfortunately, was a part of the Kristen Leanne collection and it was limited edition, but I love this color so much. I really wish they would bring it back or something very, very similar. If you know of a shade that is close to this, this is like the perfect cool tone nude. I'm obsessed with it. So if you know of any shade that's similar to this, please let your girl know because I'm obsessed with it, and I have literally stopped using it at this point because I don't want to go through it, which I know makes no sense, but that's hoarder mentality, I suppose. So yeah, those have been some of my favorites, actually my all-time favorite lipstick of the year, of life, of whatever. Cannot get enough of these Urban Decay Vice lipsticks. Alright, and last but not least, you know I couldn't do this video without talking about this friggin' facial spray, right? This is the belif Aqua Bomb Mist. If you've been around any time in the last 6 months, you have heard me talk about this. There was a good 2 months where it was in every single video. Literally every single video. I'm not being dramatic. I love this facial mist. It looks like I haven't used any of it, but I literally use it every time I do my makeup. It is so fantastic. It's not a setting spray. It's not going to prolong the wear of your makeup or anything, but it is hydrating. It smells amazing. It does something magical to makeup where it literally just melts everything together. It makes everything look more smooth and put together and a little dewy, but not like dewy. It's magical, and I know that everyone says that all facial sprays melt makeup together and make it look all smooth, but that has not been my experience. This is one of the few that I found that truly does that, and it's fantastic. Plus it smells like a friggin' spa, so I just kind of like, anytime I'm stressed out, anytime I just need like a second to myself, I will spray this on my face because it just feels amazing, and it's got the best spray nozzle. It's so delicate and just kind of like falls over your face. It's so good. So those are all of my high-end favorites. I hope you guys liked today's video. Let me know down below what some of your high-end favorites were this year. But other than that, I hope you guys will stick around, maybe hit that subscribe button, maybe check out some of my other videos, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye.